Hey everyone, Alex Telander here, and welcome to the Ostium Sagas. Now, if you're enjoying this series and want more right away, I just wanted to mention that you can get them on our Ostium Network Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. By becoming a supporter at any level, you'll instantly get access to the next 15 episodes in the series. So that's on our Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. Now, I'd just like to thank our 5 most recent patrons for supporting the Ostium Network. Thank you to Death to Komatsu, Daryl Williamson, Descripticon, Virginia Green, and Talon for all your support. We really appreciate it. And now let's get started with the next chapter of the Ostium Sagas. The Ostium Sagas. '35, Saga 2, 1666. Recorder's Endnote, Part 4.
I knew it. I bloody knew it. Always trust your intuition, Steve, that's what I say. Or I'm going to start saying it, and that will make it an actual thing. Wow. Sorry. I know that's another wow, but it feels bloody warranted. Cool. And to think a week ago I didn't have a clue about the existence of something called the Conclave, and now not only do I feel like I've been reading about them for ages, I'm now bloody messaging with an actual member of the secret group. Okay. Let's tone it down a bit, Steve. As Professor Harcourt said, I've got a lot of info for him, and he's got a lot of info for me. Also, 2 copies of the Ostium Sagas. What the hell is going on here? Okay, I'm going to stop myself there, because there was more to the message, and even though it was very evil of me to leave you all hanging on a cliffhanger like that, I don't want to be mean and cause any further pain. So let's continue with the message.
I must apologize. I sent you that message with the dire information about what seems like the impossibility of multiple copies of the Ostium Saga, and did not send my next message until a month later. Again, I'm very sorry. And you must be wondering either what happened to me or what's going on, or perhaps both. Rest assured, I am perfectly well. And my reason for the long delay is that I've been furiously working on getting you your well-deserved answers.
Okay, I'm not really sure what Professor Harcourt is talking about here. From my end, it looks like one long quantum oral message with no breaks in between. Oh, hey up, Zhang has just steered me straight. If I zoom in on the sound wave of the message, I do see a bit of a break at this point. But because, as I've said far too often, but sure comes in handy sometimes, this is all relative. So when Harcourt sent an initial message, and then a follow-up over a month later, they both arrived simultaneously on a 4th dimensional level, and as one message, unless I checked really closely. But the mystery is solved and we know what he's talking about now, so let's get back to it then.
I shall begin with some details on myself and my involvement with the Conclave. I've been a member of the Conclave, well, truth be told, my whole life. Each of my parents were members, and on my 15th birthday they sat me down to have a talk. I dreaded that they were perhaps getting a divorce, which would have come as a complete shock to me, but no. Instead, they told me of a secret group known as the Conclave that they had been a part of for many decades, and now that I was old enough, I would also have the opportunity to join. Understand that this conversation went on for many hours, as they explained very much to me, so that by the end I was, without question, completely willing to join and become a member. A month or so later, I did joke with my parents about what I had initially suspected they wanted to talk to me about, which had us all laughing, followed by their apologies. But I also asked what would have happened if I had not wanted to join. They informed me that there was a special pill the Conclave could prescribe that would have me waking up the following day having completely forgotten about our prior day's conversation. How interesting, I thought. And from then on, I essentially led two lives. One where I continued my schooling, teaching credential, master's degree, and then doctorate to eventually become a professor of medieval history at Marquette University. And another consisted of a series of weekly meetings and training sessions, as well as summer retreats to various locations around the world. After a year, I was formally initiated and welcomed into the Conclave. I became a scholar of two worlds, one to a sea of students' faces, and behind closed doors poring over ancient texts in another. Upon my being granted tenure at Marquette, I was also appointed to a new position within the Conclave, Keeper of the Ostium Sagas. I feel giving you an introduction to the Ostium Sagas is unnecessary, as I know you have already read as far as the second saga, as I have now, thanks to your generosity. I will gladly let you know the Conclave was not well pleased with me when they learned of my intentions with you, and wished I had discussed it with them first before I responded to you that first time. And now they are ebullient with the way things have turned out. I am unsure if you're fully cognizant of what you have done, and giving the Conclave a chance to read this document that we've all wanted to do for centuries and were never certain that it would ever happen. And for this translated document to come from me, the current keeper of the Ostium Sagas, well, I shall say you have made me look very good in my position, and our ongoing communication is now fully supported and encouraged by the Conclave. As much as I would like to tell you more of my duties and position within the Conclave, as well as the Ostium Sagas, I feel I must first talk about the second saga before any of that. To finally know definitively how the Great Fire of London began, a tragic event that continues to shroud our modern world in mystery still, I can remember traveling to the memorial site of London when I was a teenager with my family. It was just so melancholy. I couldn't help crying at all this loss. There was still a pall over everything. You could feel the absence of life. Lives that had been snuffed out so quickly. I shall never forget it.